Hi, you're listening to This Is Not Your Practice Life. I'm your host, Macy Renee, and we are going on a journey together, my friends. I'm a certified life and emotional intelligence coach. And if you really want to step into your highest self, there are a few non-negotiables you're going to have to learn, and I am just the person to help you do it. No matter your past, I'm here to help you create a more fulfilling future. So stick around with me. Not only will I teach you how to navigate your brain's daily mind drama, but I'll help you actually understand your mind, your emotions, why you do the things you do, and why others do the things they do. Most importantly, I'll help you build the self-awareness skills to create whatever results you want. It's never too late to change the trajectory of your life. After all, this is not your practice life. Good morning. Welcome back to another episode of This Is Not Your Practice Life podcast. I'm Macy Renee, and I am so excited to have you with me this morning or whenever you're listening. I hope you all had an amazing Thanksgiving. Ours was eventful in the sense that we ended up with the flu. I shouldn't say we because it's mostly my husband. My husband ended up with the flu, but I think I've talked about it on previous episodes. I don't do well when people are sick, particularly when it's stomach issues. The flu that's going around right now has involved some stomach issues for some people. And so to say that it was a very stressful weekend would be an understatement for me because I'm basically a nervous basket case. But I'll just leave it at that. I hope that you all had an amazing Thanksgiving, and hopefully we have built up some more immunity and we can go into the rest of the year, this crazy cold time of year that I despise, feeling really good and staying healthy. I also splurged and bought a brand new juicer that I have been wanting for several years now. It's called the Nama juicer, and I see all of the Instagrammers. I've been influenced. I see Instagrammers using it, and actually one of my favorite accounts that I followed so many years ago, probably like 10 years ago, I followed an account called Fully Raw Christina, and some of you all might follow her, and she is full vegan, but she juices all the time, and she eats extremely clean and now lives in Hawaii and has her own basically like farm of all kinds of fruits and veggies. And I just, even 10 years ago, loved her content so much and inspired me to get into juicing. And then juicing inspired me to clean up my eating habits and get healthy. And from there, I developed a love for bodybuilding, and my sister and I would go to the gym, and I felt the best I had ever felt. Like, even though life was crazy at that time in my life, and it just was super chaotic, and it was probably the worst stretch of time ever as far as trauma and just really hard things, I think between just like juicing and eating clean and being at the gym, my mental, emotional, physical state was in the best place it could be because I was actively taking care of myself, my sister as well. And so I got away from that when I, went into my internships in small little country towns and less resources and, less time and stuff like that. Of course, those are excuses. Like if I really, really wanted to make it happen, where there's a will, there's a way. But I let myself get off track, and, I just know that I can feel better. I know that I can feel better in my body. I know that I can take care of my health better. And so I have been seeing these influencers with this particular juicer where you basically load up everything that you want in the juicer and you walk away and it juices everything for you. You don't have to spend hours and hours prepping it, cutting it, doing all of the grunt work of like putting each tiny little piece into the little tiny chute and staying there until it's done. Like you just throw it all in because it's basically like a blender, except it juices. So I'm excited about it. I'll keep you posted. If you're on my Instagram, you'll probably see it a lot, but it hasn't come yet. And I'm just so excited. I'm so excited to just get my health back on track and feel healthy and build my immune system and hopefully even clear up, some of the stuff with my gut that has been a struggle the last few years. So I'll keep you posted. But I wanted to talk today about jealousy, navigating jealousy. This is a topic that was requested. I recently on my Instagram asked you guys to shoot me all of the podcast things that you want to know, all of the things you want me to talk about, and you all delivered. And as soon as I saw this particular one come through, I thought, oh my gosh, I know so many people who feel this way. It's not just this one person. I have felt this way in my life. And because I talk about emotional intelligence, a lot in being a coach specifically for that, I think it's so important to really talk about navigating jealousy and really giving you clarity on if that really is how you feel, because there is a difference, and learning emotions that are very closely related to jealousy and what it will look and feel like depending on which one you're falling more towards, and how to get yourself out of this, because jealousy is not something that we really want to have long term, especially like without awareness, because it just eats us up inside. But not only that, it's very much an emotion that will tear things apart. It's kind of like a hurricane or, a tornado or a volcano. It's just not productive for becoming your highest self. So I wanted to talk about that. And I will tell you that one of the people that I really admire in this industry is Brene Brown. Now, I don't read a lot of her books. In fact, I've never read a single Brene Brown book, but I've listened to a few of her like TED Talks and her series. I can't remember what app it was on regarding her newest book, Atlas of the Heart. And I just want to say, like, I get asked a lot, like, oh my gosh, do you love Brene Brown? Because you all have very similar styles and your work is very similar. And I follow her a little bit, but I don't over consume a lot of her stuff. However, what I will say is she has been, excuse me, in this industry studying emotions for, I'm sure, decades at this point. And she is amazing at explaining the importance of us being aware of all of the ranges of emotions that we can have, because if we don't have a good amount of awareness around our wide array of emotions, we will often use the wrong words. And when we use the wrong words, people don't, there's danger, I guess you could say, in not really having a wide vocabulary of emotions. There are many more emotions beyond sad, happy, mad, right? If I tell you I'm mad, you might not take that as seriously as if I came to you and I said, I'm disgusted or I'm repulsed, right? Both of those can fall in the range of being mad or angry. But if I use the word repulsed or livid, or, if I use other words in place of mad, you're going to have a deeper understanding of exactly what my range of emotion is. And that's really important for us in the human language, to deeply connect with what someone really means when they're trying to communicate their emotions. So if you're wanting to expand your emotional vocabulary, I just kind of wanted to throw out there that Brene Brown and her work and her studies are amazing for just really getting clarity on what different words mean. So again, we're going to talk today about navigating jealousy. So I figured the first place that we should start is talking about jealousy versus envy. Okay, because what a lot of us tend to do is use the words like, I'm so jealous of that person, or I tend to get jealous a lot. It's just very common in at least the English language, like to say that we're jealous without really thinking about it. And what's important to know is that there's a very big distinction between jealousy and envy. And I think for a lot of Americans anyways, we have a misperception that envy is worse than jealousy. And it's actually the opposite. So I really wanted to talk about this because, again, understanding our emotions and exactly what each emotion means helps us to better communicate and to understand ourselves. And the more awareness that you have in your life and around your emotions, the more I guess, more clear you can be as you're doing this highest self work, trying to reach the best version of you that feels really good to you. Okay. So I'm going to try and keep the definition super simple. I'm not looking at anything. This is going to be my definition of both. So you're more than welcome to Google. But when I hear jealousy, and also when you Google, jealousy is basically looking at another person, at the things that they have, their attributes, their materialistic things, their, money, like qualities that they have. It's looking at someone or something else and having this emotion of almost resentment that they have it and you don't. And it can be malicious in the sense of it's almost like you would feel better if they just didn't have it, or it was taken away from them, or they had to suffer and lose what they had. So for instance, I used to see this, in real life, which is very crazy, but it's like whenever you look at someone, let's say they're very successful and they have a ton of money, or they have a lot of time on their hands, or your perception of them is that they have a lot of money and a lot of time, and they have the house and the car and the marriage and the kids and whatever, right? The health. And you look at them and you say, I'm just so jealous of them. Now, if you're saying, I'm so jealous of them, even though that feels maybe harmless, okay, what that definition means is I feel upset that they have that, and I would feel better if they did not, okay? What envy means is in the same exact scenario, I feel jealous, almost the same kind of the way that we use jealousy. I feel jealous that they have that, but I'm so happy for them. I hope I get my turn. That's the difference ultimately between jealousy and envy. So when we say I envy you, what we're saying is really in everyday terms, it's almost like saying I'm jealous, but I'm so proud of you. And I'm so excited you have it. And I'm so excited you're leading the way and showing me how to have it or showing me what's possible. But I do wish that I had it. However, I wouldn't take it away from you. That's envy. Jealousy is more malicious in the sense of like, I don't like that you have it. I would kind of get a kick out of seeing you lose it. I would feel better in my spirit if something would go wrong that would, make your life a little bit harder because you seem to have it easy and I don't like that because my life isn't easy, right? So it's more malicious and it has a very, in my opinion, I call it mean girl energy, right? It could be guys too. So it's like mean girl energy, mean guy energy when you're looking at someone and, it just feels, it's like even if you want to be happy for them, you just can't find it in yourself to get there. So that I'm thinking of scenarios that would make a person jealous, right? Like let's say you and your best friend go to the gas station and you both buy lottery tickets at the exact same time and you both get automatic, numbers picked out. And your friend ends up winning, let's say, even, I don't know, $10,000 on their lottery ticket and you win nothing. You can either be the person that is jealous and you're thinking like, I should have gone before them. They shouldn't have it. I'm struggling worse than they are. They should share it with me. I wish that they didn't win that. We shouldn't have gone to that gas station. It'll be a lot of the quote unquote mean girl energy kind of thoughts or mean guy energy kind of thoughts where it's like you're jealous that they won and you're wishing it could be taken away or you're wishing it could be different. You're wishing that they wouldn't have won. You're wishing that you would have won, and it usually feels bad inside of us. Jealousy is not one of those emotions that typically feels cozy and warm, right? It usually feels bad, and we don't always want to be thinking that way, but you will notice when your body is. Versus envy would be like, girl, right? Or dude, I'm so freaking pumped for you. I wish it was me. I think that would have been cool if both of us would have won. I'm so excited for you. I definitely could have used the money too, but I am thrilled that one of us won it and I get to celebrate you. Or I'm so thrilled because I know like it's really going to help you out. It's, feeling that twinge of, ugh, I wish it was me, but not like, ugh, I wish it was me and I wish I could like change how everything happened because I don't want you to have it. I don't want you to experience it. I feel like I cannot hold the space for you to be happy about it because I am so upset about it. So it's basically like you almost rob yourself of the joy in celebrating for this other person because you're not able to emotionally hold the negative emotion of feeling envious, essentially, right? It's like the envy almost breeds and breeds and breeds into the form of jealousy where it's like, oh, I just don't even want to be happy for them, right? Another example might be, let's say, you break up with someone and you don't even find that person attractive anymore. You just don't even, really like them. But then you see the person you broke up with go be with someone else that you knew in high school, and they look happy together. They look like their relationship is way better than yours was with this person, and maybe you feel jealousy. You're thinking, what's wrong with me? It was awful whenever I was with this person. Now they look happy. Now they look content. They have all the things that I wanted. They have, he or she is treating that person the way that I wanted to be treated. And then you start wishing that it was different, and you wish that they would break up, and you wish that something would go wrong for them. And you just find yourself in, again, that mean girl or mean guy energy where it's like, I want to take it away. I want them to suffer. I want them to feel miserable and feel bad about what they've done, or I want them to regret their behavior, right? It's like your emotions start to desire to manipulate the situation so that they feel crappy emotions like what you're feeling because you're not holding the space for your own negative emotions. So you kind of want to bring people with you. Okay. That's what jealousy kind of brings up in people. And it's very unproductive. It's going to feel very toxic in your body. It's going to feel yucky in your body. And you're probably going to know in, specific scenarios or different scenarios when you're feeling jealousy versus envy. I see it a lot of times in the entrepreneurship world, right? You watch people who are very quick to success. And then you have the people who are much, much slower. You've got the people who become millionaires in 5 years, right? And then you have the people who are still trying to make $100,000 in 5 years, okay? And I have totally been there. But I have to say, I guess because of a lot of the work that I've done, a lot of times I have been able to recognize when I'm envious, right? Like when I have felt like, oh man, they're making all of this money and they did it in 5 years. And in the same timeline, I'm here, they're there, but I'm so happy for them. Like they're leading the way and showing me what's really possible, but I do wish that I was there. However, I'm not wishing that something happens to take all of their fortune away, right? Now, I'm sure in the beginning that there were moments of jealousy where I thought like, oh my gosh, I really wish that it were me. And I wish that, it didn't happen as quickly for them. Like, why did it happen as quickly for them? They're a unicorn, right? Those kind of things can fall into jealous thoughts too. It's really like when it feels very icky in your body. Envy will not feel as icky in your body because you will be able to celebrate the other person. But when you have a hard time celebrating another person's joyous moments in life, that's when you're going to recognize when the jealousy is present. Okay. So, if you're scrolling on Facebook and you see someone who has just gotten their degree, they graduated college, or you see someone who just got a brand new car, or someone who, maybe if you're in real estate, you see someone who has just got their, fourth sale of the month, Or you see a coach and they're celebrating making, hundreds of thousands of dollars or even $50,000 or whatever. If you're in the relationship marketing industry and you see people who have gotten promoted, we watch people who have maybe, bought a lake house or whatever, you're going to know based on what's happening in your body whether you feel jealousy or envy. Envy is going to be, you can hit the like and heart button, you can comment, congratulations, I'm so excited for you, and you can really mean it. And you might also have a twinge of, I wish it were me. I wish it were me, but I'm so happy for them. That's going to be envy. If it is the opposite and it's jealousy, you're going to want to scroll past their account. You're likely not going to want to acknowledge their success, accomplishment. You are likely going to have internal mind drama about it or something negative to say about it. You're not going to want to celebrate them, and your brain might even go to the mean girl or mean guy energy where you're wishing that, something awful, not something awful would happen per se, but like it just wasn't as easy for them, right? It would be like, it's like when people make little comments. Like I used to grow up around this a lot when, my grandparents who were blue collar workers and worked really, really hard for everything that they had. I mean, I've shared with you guys in full vulnerability, like I used to share bath water with my grandparents because that was the frugal thing to do. That's just what they did. I didn't even know that was weird until I got to high school, that people got to shower and bathe in their own clean water. Like I didn't know. And, like I remember being so embarrassed, like when I would hear people talk about just like taking a shower or a bath, I would, in high school, because I would be thinking, gosh, they don't have to share water with their parents or whatever, because that was how frugal my grandparents were with their money. And I grew up, getting things that I wanted here and there, but we were very I would say low to middle of the middle class. And again, they worked really hard for everything they had. And even after 30 something years of putting in time in both of their careers, individually, I don't think they ever made more than maybe $35,000 a year max. And that's with 30 something years in their careers. And so, when we would be around wealthy people, or you'd see wealthy people on TV, there was the show MTV Cribs, and there was My Super Sweet 16 when I was growing up and I was really close to 16. There was that show on MTV, My Super Sweet 16. And you watch people that spend money in just the biggest of ways, right? There's people that fly private jets and have mansions and throw these big elaborate parties for $50,000 like it's $500. And comments I would hear growing up, was like, that's wasteful and good for them. It must be nice. And, I wish, and maybe one day I'll win the lottery. And, they're probably not even happy. Or, what if they lose it all? Then what are they going to have? And just a lot of negative comments around people who had what we didn't. So before I had any personal development, it was very easy for me to fall into jealousy, where it was like, I want that, but I do kind of wish it would be taken away from them because I'm suffering and not having it. And so I kind of want them to suffer too, right? That's just the honest human brain for a lot of people. It's like, that's where we're at. And that's where we're at a lot of times before we've done our own work on ourselves and our own healing work. And I think that's also why it can be so powerful to put yourself in rooms with people who are doing this healing work, because you are surrounded by people who want and are truly working on everyone winning, right? Like I am surrounded by a lot of coaches because I'm a coach, and I graduated from like my certification from the life coach school. And in the life coach school, there's tons of coaches making a full range of multi-millions of dollars, all the way down to people trying to make their first $1,000. And the amazing thing is that in a room with hundreds, even I think at this point, thousands of people, actually it is thousands of people, you wouldn't know the difference between the people making $10 million and the people who haven't even made 10,000, because that room is filled with so much love and understanding of everybody started at zero. And nobody wants to take away the money that someone's made, right? Nobody wants to tear each other down. Everybody wants everybody to win. Now, of course, I'm sure that there are people in that room that maybe experience jealousy, but I would imagine that a lot of people have worked on their brain for a long time where you don't feel threatened. So, speaking of jealousy, jealousy a lot of times is fear-based. Okay, it's the fear of this other person has something I don't think I ever will. You could experience jealousy in relationships. You could experience jealousy when it comes to accolades. You can experience jealousy for numerous amounts of things. And it really comes down to the fear that comes up when you're triggered by what someone else has. Okay, so again, it could be money, love, security, validation, acceptance, time, attributes, qualities, achievement, material items, and jealousy will create this resentful emotion in you where it's just like it feels horrible because your brain has not stretched in the capacity where you believe it's possible for you. So you feel like you have to take it away from somebody else in order to have it or experience it. You feel like there's not enough to go around. So for instance, if you're in a group of people, and I was telling a client this recently. We were talking about money, and I was talking about how when I would get in rooms with people who have made way more money than me, it was very, very uncomfortable. And I was triggered in the sense of like, do I belong in this room? Like, should I even be sitting at this table with everybody who is making 10 times more than I am? And I feel like a little shrimp, right? I've experienced that god awful feeling of feeling like I'm not pulling my weight in life, and all of these people I'm at a table with are clearly doing something that I'm not. And I think it would have been very easy to let myself get into jealousy. But again, I've done a lot of work over the years, and I've watched how jealousy just does not serve people. I've watched how malicious it is in the sense of how it will tear relationships apart. And you know what jealousy I've seen the most, what jealousy does is that it will keep you from learning how to have exactly what you're jealous of. That's what's so crazy, is that jealousy takes you further away from the thing that you want most, whether it is like security, love, validation, money, more time, happiness, like whatever it is, whatever you see in someone else that makes you feel jealous. Jealousy is such an amazing thing to learn from. So even though I think that this emotion doesn't serve us long term, I feel very strongly that it is such an amazing teacher, because jealousy teaches you what you really want and what you currently feel that you're lacking. Okay, so whether you're jealous of another girl or another woman, and it could be over anything, right? It could be like, I'm afraid I'm going to lose my partner to this other girl because this other girl has these attributes I don't have. She has looks I don't have. She has, humor I don't have. She has a body I don't have. She has money I don't have. She has a loving, tight-knit family that I don't have. Whatever it is, you can take that jealousy and see what is really a trigger for you in your life, like what you feel you're missing to be worthy or to feel worthy. So you can either let the jealousy take over and be this really toxic, malicious thing, or you can let the jealousy be this amazing teacher of what your brain is telling you is impossible for you or what you can't have. So in terms of money, right? Like, let's say there are people who get really triggered by my coach. Like I've told you guys, my coach is amazingly successful. And when I hired her, I thought it was amazing because, again, she had made like $130,000 in a year, like working as a life coach. And she was like 30, I think like 32 or something like that. Maybe even 31. I don't know. And I thought she was such a badass. Like, I thought for a woman in her early 30s making $130 something thousand a year, I thought she was like the richest person ever. Like, truly, okay? It's funny now because of how much money that she makes, but back then I was so proud of her and just so excited to like work with her because she was changing my life so much. It really didn't even matter about how much money she had made, but knowing that she was making $130,000 a year, it was like, oh, okay, it's possible to do that as an entrepreneur. I wasn't even thinking life coach. I was just thinking like broadly, like, oh, okay, it's possible to make that much money working for yourself. That's so cool. And she's really young. That's incredible. So I was blown away then. Fast forward 6 years, and she was honored this past April for making $10 million in the past year, which is just freaking mind-blowing if you ask me. And it's still so cool. Like, for me, I don't feel any jealousy whatsoever. I would never want to take that away from her. I would never want her to lose it. I would never want her to suffer. I actually feel very protective of her. Like, I'm just so proud because I've watched for 6 years her work on her brain so deeply, cry a lot, like experience hardship so much, be stretched in so many ways. And so I know, as both a client and a friend of hers, that she has grown and stretched so much. She's deserving of every single penny she makes. And I feel so proud of her. Could I say I felt envious? Of course, I would love to be at $10 million a year. Hello, who wouldn't, right? But I would never want to take it away. And I know that there's other people that feel jealous, that don't want maybe her making that amount of money, that really like create stories in their mind of it's not fair, or she, charges too much, or she, takes people for their money, or whatever they want to say. Okay, people will make up stories a lot of times. Again, when you feel jealous, you're going to make up stories about people, sometimes stories that are not even true, to fuel yourself to feel better. And what is so crazy is that if she had 10 people, let's say, that felt envious and 10 people that felt jealous, who do you think are the people who are going to be much closer to making $10 million? I can promise you it's going to be the people that feel envy, if they even feel envy at all. Because even if you feel envious, you're not trying to take it away. So your actions are going to be, I want to know everything this person's doing. I want to watch what they do. I want to be in their energy. I want to learn from them. I want to listen to them. I want to engulf myself in as much of them as possible, as if they're a mentor, a coach, a teacher, right? Because I want that for myself. And in order to have it for myself, I need to learn from someone who's been there, okay? And so a lot of times someone who is envious is going to be like, okay, I recognize that I'm bothered because I don't have it. And what is so cool about that is I see that I want it, but I don't know how to get it. So I should probably model this person and learn as much as I can so I can have it too. Because if it's possible for them, it's obviously possible for me. I might not fully believe that yet, but if they did it, I can probably do it too, right? And so you want to move in closer to people like that because you want that for yourself. And so even though it might be triggering and you might have, limiting beliefs, and you might feel like a small shrimp in the room next to someone who makes $10 million, right? Because I've been there, trust me. It's like you still want to surround yourself in that energy because it's like, this person also wants me to succeed. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're rooting for me. They've been at zero, and there's no reason to distance myself from them because I can't handle my own negative emotion. If you had the 10 people lined up who are jealous, what you're going to see is them talking badly about said person, whoever the person is, okay, you're going to see them engaging probably in a lot of gossipy behavior so that they feel better about themselves, tearing that someone down, right? Or trying to. You're going to see them withdraw. You're going to, and this might even be if it applies to you, right? You're withdrawing, you refuse to maybe like or acknowledge their success, but you can't look away. It's kind of like, I have to know what's going on. I can't look away. I need to see if they go through anything hard. I need to see if they suffer. I need to see if they're going to post anything human or if their life is quote unquote perfect all the time, right? And it's like you're annoyed by their presence. You have to snooze them or delete them or remove them. And so what's crazy is that the jealous person is going to be less close to having the very thing that they want because they fully remove themselves from the person who knows how to get there. And they shoot themselves in the foot because they have an opportunity to get really close to that person and learn and do amazing things. But instead they will do the opposite because they can't deal with their own negative emotion. Okay, so it's so interesting how jealousy can come in and destroy, again, relationships and an opportunity to learn from others, an opportunity to learn from yourself. The piece of jealousy that I think is so amazing is that it shows you what you deeply desire. It really does. It shows you what you deeply want. If you look at someone, like for instance, I work 3 days a week. Okay, I work 3 days a week as a coach, but I also, as an occupational therapist, got my schedule down to 3 days a week. And I would hear people make comments every now and then, like, must be nice to work 3 days a week. And, internally, I would be thinking, yeah, it is really nice. But then the other part of me would be frustrated that instead of them coming to me and saying, how did you pick a career or get yourself to a place where you only work 3 days a week? Like, instead of them coming and asking me, it was easier for them to be in the jealous emotion of must be nice, where they feel negative about it. And then they remove themselves and they probably talk about me behind my back, which doesn't bother me. That doesn't affect me, right? But it's like for them, it robs them of an opportunity to learn because they're so negatively in their brain. And it's like, just get out of your brain and figure out how to get the thing that you want. If you're looking at someone who has a 3-day work week or a 4-day work week, instead of being jealous and letting it rob you of a learning opportunity, let it be a teaching opportunity. Clearly, you would like to have a 3 to 4 day work week, okay? And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think our soul speaks to us a lot, and our soul speaks to us in other people's lives and actions, right? I think the things that we deeply desire that are on our hearts are sometimes pulled out by what we witness in other people. And when we witness it in other people, we either get triggered and don't deal with our emotion and we remove ourselves from them because we're not handling our own triggers and healing our own triggers, or we lean into the discomfort and we say, how did you do that? Can you show me? Right? I've had a lot of clients too that have come to me recently and they're like, I was listening to the podcast episode where you talked about, being an occupational therapist and how one day you had the epiphany of like, this isn't what you're going to, this is not what you wanted to do for the next 40 years. And so you started focusing on your entrepreneurship more and you walked away. And I've had so many clients say, I didn't even know I could give myself permission to walk away from my college career that I had spent, thousands and thousands of dollars on, that I thought would be the career the rest of my life, even though I'm miserable. Those clients could have listened to that podcast and been triggered and rolled their eyes and could have been like, Macy, must be nice for her, a 3-day work week. And, she walked away from her college career and now she's building this, entrepreneurship thing. Must be nice for her. And stopped listening to the podcast, right? And there probably have been people who have. And, that's the headspace they could have been in, and like jealousy of just like, bleh, 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 and then go talk about it to their friends at lunch who are also miserable in their jobs. There's that version of ourselves. And then there's the version of like, okay, if she could do it, I could probably do it. I need to schedule a consult with her, right? And even if they work with me or they don't, just the energy of like, I need to figure out like what's possible for me. Like, it expanded my brain. It highlighted something in me that I clearly want. I feel envious that she has it. I want to know how to get it. I'm going to get closer to her and I'm going to learn from her. Those are two totally different operations based on two totally different emotions. One is going to have you lean into your discomforts of not being where you want to be, but learning. And the other one is going to be the discomfort of not being where you want to be, but removing yourself from what's possible because you just can't handle yourself in your own negative emotion. So the goal here is to notice your jealousy. And instead of running from the person or the thing that is making you feel that way, leaning into what the trigger is and really getting clear on what it is you want that you think you can't have, that you think isn't possible for you, that you think is too far-fetched, right? Whether it's qualities in another person, it's fear of losing someone. Like jealousy is fear. And it's fear of not having something or fear of losing something. And it just means your brain is firing in a direction that is just not serving you. So if that is something that you want to work on, or you know you need to work on, my advice would be to schedule a free consult. It's 60 minutes, you and I. Doesn't mean that we have to work together, right? But it is to figure out if we're compatible and if I can help you through one-on-one coaching or group coaching or whatever offers I have going on at the time. It is our opportunity to coach and get really clear on what you have going on in your life and how satisfied you are within those 60 minutes and what next steps might be best for you. So there's no harm there. There's no pressure. You get to decide in your power what's going to be great for your life and maybe what's not. And sometimes it means moving forward and coaching together, and sometimes it means passing and figuring out what's next for your life. No judgment either way, but it is a great place to get more clarity. So if you need that, you can schedule a free consult at macyrene.com. And I hope you all have an amazing week. Always send me your suggestions for podcast episodes. I love it when you do that. Also, say hello, introduce yourself. I love meeting you. I love talking to you. And I hope that you all have an amazing week and stay healthy because it's crazy out here. The flu is cray. Stay healthy, guys. I will talk to you next week. Bye. Hey there. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of This Is Not Your Practice Life podcast. If you'd like to connect on social media, you can find me on both Instagram and Facebook at Macy Renee Coaching. And if you want to stay up to date on all of my offers, announcements, and inspirational emails, you can join my email list at macyrene.com. In addition, if there's a way that I can further support you in your coaching journey, you can schedule a free 60-minute consult at macyrene.com anytime you want so we can discuss the best options for you. I look forward to seeing you next week, and I hope you have an amazing day.